Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim brothers and sisters. My name is Maria. I used to be Monique before I converted to Islam. And the purpose of this video is to talk to you about the reasons why I converted to Islam and what I've found within Islam, what made it good for me. Um, so I'm going to start from the very beginning, so please just bear with me and just kind of try to stick with me. I'm sorry. Um, when I was a little kid, I had a rough childhood. Well, I mean, for the most part, I was happy, and then my mother's second husband, when he left, that's when things started to kind of go bad for me. But my biological father, her first husband, left when I was about 2 years old, and my sister was 1 year old. My mother found out that he was sleeping with other women while he was deployed in the army, and as you can imagine, that didn't really go over well with her. Especially since the marriage ended and she was left to raise 2 young children by herself. So, I mean, that didn't really affect me too much because, you know, I was 2 years old. I didn't really get to know him as a person. She remarried when I was 7 years old. No, I'm sorry, when I was 5 years old. And things were going good for a while, but then my mother decided, you know, that we were living in a small town, and she decided that she wanted more opportunities for us. So that kind of started to get them fighting, and he thought it was a personal thing, and things started to spiral out of control. When we moved to a bigger town, that's when they decided that they were going to get a divorce. I took that very harshly because he was really good with me. He was the only father figure I ever really had. I was raised a Christian, and I decided, well, church was good when I was a little kid, so there must be something to it. There must be a reason why I was going with my grandparents all the time. Mind you, my parents never went. They always sent me with my grandparents. I assumed that they had their reasons, but they never told me, and I don't bag them about it. So I delved deep into Christianity, and for a while it did satisfy me, I'll admit that. I was happy in church, I was happy with the things that I was doing, but I think that it was mainly because I had friends there, people that cared about what I had to say for a change, and people that genuinely wanted to be around me. But then, I started to fall away from it because I started to get really depressed after the divorce and everything. I was even cutting myself for a very short amount of time. Had a friend not, one of my friends not found my diary and read it, I could have ended my life. And, excuse me. So obviously, Christianity wasn't doing for me what I thought it was. So I decided to go back into church after I was depressed and everything, and I started to really study the Bible. Not just what was being taught to me, but I wanted to really study it. And the further I got into it, the more discrepancies that I saw. And I don't mean to offend any Christians or anything like that. I'm just talking about my experiences. So please don't take it the wrong way. And like I said, and then I got into college, and it was the school that I went to, required Bible classes. So when I started taking those, and I was reading the Bible from what they called an objective perspective, I saw even more discrepancies and more inconsistencies. And I said, you know, for a religion that claims that its book is complete and there's nothing wrong with it, it's perfect, this book isn't. I didn't find this book to be so perfect. And then I saw the hypocrisy in the churches, and I said, you know, this really isn't for me. I'm not getting anything out of this spiritually. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't matter who I talk to. I'm not getting anything out of this spiritually. So my first exposure to Islam was when I was 12 years old. I went to middle school with a guy who was from Pakistan, and he started telling me about Islam a little bit. But all I knew at that time were the 5 pillars of Islam, and I knew about the Quran, that they read a different book, but I didn't really know much about the religion itself until I got to college. I was a religion major with the goal of studying different religions. And I got to the class that was about Judaism and Islam, and that's when I really got to know more about Islam. But the person who was teaching the Islam class that I was taking was a retired Christian minister. And I started really paying attention to how he was presenting it, and I didn't feel it was fair. So when I met a friend of mine from Saudi Arabia, he started telling me more about Islam. And the more I learned about Islam, the more he taught me, the more he showed me, the more I fell in love with it, alhamdulillah. So ultimately, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala led me to Islam, and I chose to convert. I said my shahada in a masjid in Johnson City, Tennessee, and I found that they were the most welcoming group of people I had ever met in my entire life. They were just excellent to me, and no other group of people had ever been that way. And the more I learned about it, like I said, the deeper I got into Islam, the more I loved it. And ever since Islam, my life has been so much better. I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I stopped hanging out with the wrong group of people. I met my husband, alhamdulillah. You know, I converted in October of 2010. And I had started speaking to my husband in August of 2010. Please know that he had no bearing on my decision to convert to Islam, because I was thinking about it even before I met him. So he did not influence my decision to convert at all. And when we got married in January of 2011, and it's a wonderful marriage, alhamdulillah. But the purpose of this video was to tell you, you know, about sort of my story about Islam and why I came to it. But like I said, a lot of it had to do with, you know, I didn't have a good family background. You know, I was faced with a lot of hardships, and I was just looking for answers. I wasn't satisfied with the answers that the pastors, excuse me, and the counselors and everyone, I was not satisfied. I couldn't find answers anywhere. But when I came to Islam, all of the questions to my answers to my questions were answered. Alhamdulillah. So I hope that this video has helped. There will be more videos to come. And sorry I've been rambling a little bit, but there will be more videos to come. And in my next video, inshallah, I will talk to women who, I will address the concerns of women who are thinking about Islam, who might be a little bit hesitant because of some of the rumors that they've heard about Muslim men or Arab men or the hijab, whatnot. That one might be a little bit shorter. So feel free to leave your comments if you have any suggestions about ways that this video can be improved, please let me know, and I would be more than happy to listen to you. Thank you. Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.